After several years living like a college man without a proper headboard, it is finally time to DIY one. Don't worry, I do at least sleep with the mattress off the floor. I have seen a bazillion different types of headboards online, but this particular one from Article was really catching my eye, but the price tag was not. So I wanted to challenge myself to get the look for less. Stay tuned till the end to find out if I accomplish that feat. If you like this type of attainable DIY, please give this video a like. It really does help me out. And I also give you a sneak peek of my bedroom makeover coming up. So subscribe to see that video, but you'll see a sneak peek of my bedroom here today. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so I don't exactly know what I'm doing, and I kind of just put this plan together based on the knowledge in my head instead of probably what I should have done, which is following another YouTube channel or like instructions somewhere on the interwebs. But this was the easiest way I could think of to make a DIY headboard, so here goes nothing. I heard you were talking some smack about my YouTube channel. What about you, sir? So here is my general plan. I am going to use these 1/4 inch thick sheets of sanded plywood to make the backings of the pieces to my headboard. These are all 2 feet wide by 4 feet tall, and I'm going to use 3 of them total, and they're going to be vertical, so overall this headboard's going to measure about 6 feet wide by 4 feet tall. And to make the upholstered cushy part of the headboard, again we're thinking Article headboard panels here, I'm using these 3-inch thick foam sheets on top of the plywood pieces. And after that, I just have to upholster it and mount it to the wall. Easy enough, right? Okay, it may not sound super easy to you, but I promise it will be. The sheets of foam were the same width as the plywood, planned out beforehand, thankfully, but they were slightly longer, so I have to cut the extra foam length off. If you have the perfect length foam and plywood, you can skip this cutting foam section and jump to the next timestamp. But I am just lying the plywood on top of the foam and using a Sharpie to mark where I have to cut. Listen, you can make fun of my fuzzy socks if you want to, but I will not apologize for them. I'm going to use a retractable knife to cut through the foam, but the knife isn't quite long enough to cut through cleanly from one side, so that's why I'm making guidelines on all 4 sides of the foam to keep me cutting straight. I would definitely recommend doing this. So now it's time to cut the foam, and this is pretty straightforward. Just take your time and recheck every so often that you are cutting perpendicular to the foam. At first I found it helpful to score the foam slightly and then go back in and do all the real cutting. Lots of small, quick cuts, that's what did it. The foam gets shaky as you get to cutting towards the bottom, so do your best to hold it steady. And I hope this goes without saying, but you are using a very sharp tool that could harm you. So please take it slow and be super careful. And just a last tip, the cut side doesn't have to be perfect. Just mostly straight and even, and you'll be fine. Once you have the 3 foam pieces ready to go, you have to actually attach them to the plywood backings. So the easiest way I thought of was to use spray adhesive. And I have to go onto my balcony for this part because I didn't want the fumes inside or for like a cat to end up stuck to a foam board. 2 things I didn't think to do that I really should have done, so I'm telling you to be better than me, is to 1, wear a mask when spraying this adhesive because I'm sure I killed some of my lungs by not. And 2, if you're near things that you care about keeping adhesive free, aka my railings and balcony floor, lay a tarp or something down first. Learn from my mistakes, please. Spraying this Gorilla adhesive was easy enough. Hold it about 6 inches away, make sure to shake the bottle well beforehand, and I went over the entire surface of both the foam and the plywood twice. This probably wasn't necessary, especially since the fabric will be holding everything together, but I'm OCD. I also let it dry till it was tacky, before squishing the foam and the plywood together. And yes, I thought it was necessary to lie on the pieces to help them stick together. I'll leave it up to you whether you feel this is also necessary. I'm sure there are a lot of different ways to actually attach the headboard panels to the wall, but I went with, again, what I thought would be the sturdiest but also the easiest. This meant buying these French cleat picture hanger kits, and they can hold up to 100 pounds, so they should do the trick. Out of the package, it's easy to get the pieces mixed up, but basically the bracket with the wishbone looking piece goes on the panel, and the other bracket goes on the wall. So my next step was to screw the bracket with the wishbone looking thing to the back of my headboard panels. It doesn't really matter where you choose to mount the bracket to the back of the panel, but I would do it pretty close to the top of the panel. The bracket is 1 foot wide and my plywood is, again, 2 feet wide, so I just centered the bracket 6 inches from the top and 6 inches from the sides, making sure the screw holes are positioned towards the top of the panel. I colored in the 4 holes I would be screwing in to help me keep the bracket straight as I go, and with the 4 screws from the kit, I am ready to go. I spent so long at Joann's, but I settled on this blue jersey material because, as you'll soon see, I'm going for a tone-on-tone look in my bedroom. I got 5 yards to be safe, but I only ended up using about 4, and I cut it into 3 even pieces. If your fabric isn't as stretchy as mine, I would definitely keep all 5 yards, but mine was super stretchy. I went back to my living room rug for this, but just make sure you have a flat surface to work on. I'm doing my best here to lay the fabric nice and flat, good side facing down without stretching it too much. And then I lay my headboard foam facing down. And after that, it's really just an art of finessing the fabric around the foam and stapling the fabric to the plywood. I think the more you do this, the easier it gets, honestly. With less stretchy materials, it might even be easier because there isn't really a place for the fabric to go. Whereas with this jersey material, I was trying to figure out how much to pull in each different section. At the end of the day, just remember to be easy on yourself because I guarantee other people don't see your mistakes like you do. With the corners, there's multiple ways that you could do this. I chose to create a seam that lined up with the edge of the foam and cut away the excess as I went along to help with the stapling and keep from lots of layers of fabric bunching up. Now that I have 3 fully assembled headboard panels, time to put these suckers on the wall. First step is to figure out how far down the bottom French cleat is from the top of the headboard. Because I know where I want the top of the headboard to sit on my wall, this helps me determine where to drill the bottom French cleat holes. I'm only going to use 4 screws per cleat to drill into the wall, mostly because that's all I have on hand, but it's also all you really need because the panels are actually relatively light. And pro tip, get you a tool like this that helps you find the studs, or in my case, avoid things you don't want to drill into, like pipes. I'm also using a laser level across the wall to make sure all 3 of my cleats line up. Oh wow, look at this close-up of my shoulder. Okay, yeah, slightly better shot of me drilling into the drywall. I'm using drywall anchors to be safe here and to not accidentally tear down walls of an apartment I don't own. The nice thing about these bottom cleat pieces is that they have a level on it, so you can continuously check that you're level while you screw them in and adjust if necessary. And finally, the moment of truth, time to hang these bad boys. After some adjusting to make them perfectly centered, it's time for the big reveal. I know you've been waiting to find out. Did I get the look for less? Remember, that article headboard was $649. Altogether with my materials and supplies, my total was $248.06. Not to mention, I get the satisfaction of saying that I DIY'd it. Let me know in the comments down below if you think you would attempt this, because I promise it was very simple. Definitely a beginner level DIY. And like I said before, this was definitely a sneak peek of my bedroom makeover, so I hope you subscribe and stay tuned for that. I am super excited to share it with you guys. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I will see you guys next time.